The Song of Your Heart. November 5, 2013. Each of you has a precious melody that is unique and equally special, and this precious melody, dear ones, is the song your heart sings when you are in the presence of God. Accept that your own presence is beautiful and divine, and as you walk along your path that has led you onto a spiritual journey, you discover you have entered a more complete inner knowing of God's love, and you have experienced God's love in many corners of your life and within the living and breathing world around you. As you become more aware of God's presence in your life, you also become more aware of any one part of you that still holds mistrust towards God, and this new awareness provides you with the opportunity to explore these areas of yourself, and in time, with love and care from you, you will learn what is needed to increase your level of trust and faith in God. Fear is common when you first step forward into God's light. You step forward because you love God and you have longed for the moment to become one with His light and love, yet there is a part of you that fears letting go completely, trusting God with your life and journey. Don't worry much on this, dear ones, as it is quite common and a necessary step in your spiritual development and growth. When you let go of your fears and of the doubts your ego creates, your soul becomes more connected with your whole self that is very much alive and vibrant with vital light energy. For a long time, many dear souls that share your earth have lived in a perceived state of being separated from God. Even in your current modern era, your bodies have become attuned to the practical aspects that life has for you. Because of your fast-paced world, it is harder for you to recognize the existence of miracles and mysteries because your awareness has been dormant for a long time. As a result, your ability to perceive God's light and love that has always been an integral part of each waking day is dimmed until you begin to consciously make an effort to raise your consciousness and awareness and begin opening your whole self in trust and faith to God's presence. Many dear souls wonder how they can improve their trust and faith in God, and how they can let go of their fears that will suddenly come out when they begin to follow the will of God. Understand, dear ones, living in trust and faith in God and His divine presence is not something you try out of whim. It requires daily acceptance of His presence in every area of your life. Stretching your awareness beyond your normal capacity will create growing pains, but the expansion of your awareness is necessary not just for your ability to recognize God's presence but to be more self-aware. The moment your journey takes a path that leads to a spiritual life, a door to the divine suddenly becomes open. As you make your way through this door, you will explore and discover new abilities, skills and strengths that will help raise your intuitive level of perception, and your consciousness rises to new and wondrous heights. As you rise to new heights of awareness, you also find the necessity of purifying yourself through spiritual cleansings and clearings more often from the debris that prevented you from recognizing your full divine nature. When you realize your purification has begun, God will light a path that was once previously hidden. Through certain circumstances within your current relationships or that cause a flux in your emotions and feelings, you recognize this as a change. As you move through the changes, you are brought back to your soul's unique oneness with God. At this point, dear ones, any part of yourself that housed fear, doubt or second-guessed where your path was leading to is illuminated with God's light, providing a new path with fresh directives. As you move into the light God has provided you to follow, the old painful memories that will surface are released, and you will at a steady pace find yourself freed from emotional hindrances that created the reasons for your previous mistrust in God. Through each turn and passage along your journey, eventually you become free of many heavy emotions and burdens that you have been carrying for a very long time. As you free yourself from burdens of events and situations that have long since passed, your beautiful spirit is renewed and you are provided with new and aspiring opportunities to branch out in new and exciting directions. The more you believe in your journey and trust in God, the more hope and faith becomes a constant companion. As you learn to shed the fears you previously held of trusting yourself completely under God's care, you come to realize the profound depth of God's love for each of you, and this love has never wavered. When you choose to live your life within the sanctity of God's love, blessings will be fruitful and they will enlighten you and heal you through the radiant outpouring of His divine heart as He blesses each and every of His children and the earth which you live. Because of the unstable flux of changes that are felt by energy and vibrations, often your emotions become intense, and at times you will feel it's not possible to be positive about anything, and all that enters your mind frame are negative thoughts, and your self-talk degenerates. During times like these, dear ones, what is needed is God's healing presence. Ask for God, speak to Him with an open heart and open mind, seek healing through His light, and know His love will heal you from the depths of your soul and mend all the pain and sadness you have been carrying. Comprehend, dear ones, love is more tangible than you may realize. Love comes into your life through many guises. Love can be felt through a comforting hug, a friend or family member wishing you goodwill. Through prayer, love is given and felt, and love is felt by a beloved animal friend. And as you can see, dear ones, love is expressed through many actions without using words, yet the power and feeling is incredible. We see too often many dear souls trying to perfect their physical appearance, or trying to perfect another aspect of themselves instead of focusing on seeing themselves as already complete as they are. As you are able to hold on to God's presence into all areas of your life, including the difficult moments, you come to realize how much you actually trust in God, and that lack of faith in Him came from your own lack of faith in yourself. Trust yourself, and have faith in the direction your path is taking you to. Continue cultivating your inner connection with God, and your oneness with His presence will sustain you through each good time and every bad time. Having a tight connection with God and being aware of His divine presence in each area of your life will provide comfort and support during the most trying of times, and nourishment when life has given you a difficult obstacle to overcome. Understand, dear ones, the stronger your connection with God, the greater possibility of receiving His blessings, healing and grace. When you find yourself stumbling down a painful path filled with despair where you feel hopeless, it's important for you to connect with other dear souls that are genuinely supportive, loving and caring. When you are willing to ask another dear soul for help, even if that help is simply listening, and they comply, their combined actions of being willing, listening, and compassionate, they will help activate and strengthen the presence of love in your own self from the dear soul you have turned to for comfort and support. The divine light that is an accepted part of love begins to melt any shadows of despair and discord. The presence of God's love is always available, dear ones. You simply have to reach for Him and allow His light to be the anchor of love you have always been seeking. God's love has the power of transforming the worst pain if you simply allow His presence to enter each area of your life. It is through this allowance that your hope and faith in God and in yourself returns, and His return is felt deeply within your heart, and your mind and body becomes lighter and clearer. As you allow yourself to feel God's presence into each area of your life, you will literally feel all the new that is aiding to the rise of your consciousness that will propel new blessings that are beyond imagination, and these blessings that are to come, dear ones, will be gifts from God and the love that He has bestowed upon each of you. And so it is. I'm Ascended Master, El Morya, through Julie Miller. SpiritualNetworks.com